Hello, welcome to The Fit Life, a podcast where we dive into nutrition, balance, and food as a fuel for a healthier, more structured life. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the world of HYROX, the training, the nutrition, the reality behind competing at such a high level. We have Adi O'Gara, Dave Kelly, James Lockray. Guys, you're very welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We have a good mixture here of guys who have competed in the World Championships in Nice last year and who are coaching a lot of people for the HYROX, especially for the one coming up in Sharjah very soon. So, guys, how is the training going for Sharjah? We'll start with the new dad.
Yep, it's going good. Obviously, being a new dad is kind of juggling a lot of things. The volume of training's probably decreased a bit. I would say the quality of training staying in there, but probably not doing as much as what I should be doing. But I think priorities of being a dad's kind of taking over a little bit too. As Benji, he's only 4 months old now, so yeah.
How often are you training?
I still train about 5, maybe 6 days a week, which still is quite a lot. But getting time out of the house, I'd say like my long runs aren't as long anymore. So just trying to keep the quality in there.
For any normal person, 5 or 6 days a week would be quite a lot, and you're like,
yeah,
I'm just I'm dialing it down, just doing the 5-6 days a week. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Dave, how's your training going?
Good, yeah. We moved over here in January, so
brilliant.
We're not here too long. I think the big thing for me has been maintaining some form of consistency. The last few months, we've been bouncing around Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Only moved into our own apartment there last week, so in terms of training, it's just been maintaining consistency and dialing back the intensity to make sure I can hit as many sessions as possible.
Are you dialing that back on purpose in with the...
Yeah, just I suppose the stress of moving Airbnb every few days, and then we've a little puppy as well who's just moved over, so it's just been to manage the intensity and volume, make sure I can still hit as many sessions as possible.
Perfect. James, how is your training going?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm just enjoying myself, you know. I'm trying, because obviously we spoke about before, I had an injury last year.
Yeah.
So just getting back into being able to train and move is great. I'm trying not to focus on Sharjah. I'm just trying to keep fit and stay in as best shape as possible. So I'd say training's going well. I'm feeling really good, but you never know until you race and see what comes of it.
Do you mind telling us what your injury was?
Yeah, I normally go mountain biking every year in Hatta for a friend's birthday, and everyone always says if anyone's going to hurt himself, it's going to be me. And last year it was. I flipped over the front of a mountain bike and broke my collarbone. So nice. I was out, broke my collarbone, had to have surgery. I was in bed bound for a month and slowly started getting back to it maybe August, September last year, but it was just like a long road back.
How do you manage that as a gym instructor, a PT? You're probably telling people to come back in good time and that, and do you follow your own advice to that respect?
To be fair, I did, because I didn't. Sometimes you don't realise how much you need a break until you're forced to take a break. So I spent the whole month in bed. During that time, it was Eid. Then there was the floods last year, so I couldn't do anything anyway. So I was in bed for a whole month, didn't do anything, and when I came out of it, I was kind of like, I felt almost better than before.
Okay.
So even though I'd done nothing, I'd been completely sedentary, I felt really good. So when I slowly started going back to work, it was like, right, let's focus on going back to work. And then after work, it'll be, now we can start to move again. But I could only walk for so long before I could take impact of running or anything, because everything was completely strapped up. So to be fair, I needed the break and I enjoyed the break, and I don't resent having it, really.
Have you ever pushed yourself too far, Dave, overtraining or kind of pushing an injury coming back or creating an injury because of overtraining?
He's too slow of a runner to push himself.
I think in my early days of training and like getting into CrossFit like 5 or 6 years ago, like pushing the intensity too much, like just overtraining. I think it's only in the last few years getting into triathlon, HYROX, where you're learning how to manage the intensity a bit better. So yeah, I think I haven't had any serious injuries, never broken collarbone, anything like that, but I've definitely like repetitive injuries and strains just from overtraining.
Did you do a bit of a transfer from CrossFit over to HYROX?
So it was actually, I was kind of CrossFit strength and conditioning training for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't say I got fed up of it, but I wanted something a bit more endurance-based, competitive, got into triathlon. So I was doing triathlon for a year, a lot of sprint triathlons, standard distance triathlons. and had a bit of a freak injury. Oh, I did have an injury actually.
Hey, all comes out.
I was out doing a
It's like
warm up.
therapy.
I was out doing a warm up for a run, and there was like a rabbit hole in the grass back at home, and I like severely sprained my ankle to the point where I was convinced it was broken, and that put me out of triathlon. And then it was only when I couldn't run for 2-3 months that I went back into the strength and conditioning training. And the lads, there's a group of them doing HYROX Madrid a few months later, and that's kind of how I fell back into HYROX.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Adi, talk to us about qualifying for the World Championships last year. You had a lot of preparation for it.
Yeah, we did, to be fair. I think we got asked to do it 3 days before in Dubai.
Had you ever done one before?
I did one the year before, individual pro, so I went for that, and I was in the third station. I'd done my hamstring. So talking about injuries, me being stubborn, I finished the race. I was like walking the Ks. I think it took me like an hour and a half or something to finish the race. But yeah, I probably should have pulled out. But that was the only experience I had from HYROX before. I enjoyed it, like the build up. I trained a lot for the first one, and I got injured.
So you finished with a pulled hamstring.
Yeah,
you're like the Jamaican bobsleigh team, just getting home.
Yeah, so basically like the lunges, I was just lunging off the same leg every time.
Oh God.
On the rower, I didn't strap my feet in. I just used my hands. So yeah, it wasn't enjoyable. It was a long 90 minutes, like a really long 90 minutes.
It's almost more impressive, to be fair.
Yeah, that's
He was
fair
probably
enough.
still quicker than me on the rower as well.
But no, then the second one came up. I think I got a bit frustrated from that because I trained so much.
Yeah.
And it kind of disheartened me, and I was like, I'm never doing HYROX again. A few months went by. They announced another date here. Didn't sign up for it. I was probably still a bit disheartened. And then a company reached out to me on Instagram and asked me would I do this one coming up in Dubai. I think I had a slight niggle from a football injury. I was just coming back, so I said, look, I'll do it in doubles. I don't want to do it solo. I'll do it in doubles for fun. So I reached out to Connor Clark. We jumped in, I think, about 3 days before, qualified for the Worlds. They told me you qualified for the Worlds. I think the first thing I asked was, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And then we got sponsored by the warehouse and Puma to send us to the Worlds in the East. So we gave it a go then. It was good.
That's
good
brilliant.
Experience.
So you all three of you have competed in other countries.
Yeah.
How was Nice? How did Nice go for you?
Yeah, it was mad. The standard was insane. Like me and Connor probably both come from Gaelic football backgrounds. Like we had a good like level of fitness. We were strong on the sleds. We would kind of get the station and the heavier stuff. We would push the sleds, get back onto the track, and then the runners would just come out and run past us again. So we were catching up in the stations, and then the next thing, the runners were just flying. So I think we probably would have had to work on our paces a bit more. But I think if we had a bit more time, probably worked as a doubles team for a bit longer, we might have done a bit better. But standard in Nice was absolutely insane.
Just
like,
the running alone.
just the pace. Like the guys weren't even touching the floor; they're just like flying past you. It was nuts.
Do you guys find it hard to pace yourselves in the HYROX?
On the first one you do, yeah. Like the I don't know about you guys, but with all my clients, first thing I say is just don't go out too hot. Let everybody run their first run, and then you just kind of catch them up at the end. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world of trouble. So, if on the first one you do, but after you've got the experience of the first one, you know, kind of stay in your own lane.
I think it's easier said than done. Is the adrenaline is pumping, and you're like, I'm going to win this.
I said it to a few clients this week, just because everyone's in a tent, like this Red Bull tent. There's a big screen like counting down 10, 9, and like
you're in there for about
rate's
10
up.
minutes as well before it starts.
And the next thing, like everyone just takes off, like they just fly out the gate. And like you're in this pack, and it's like if you don't run fast, you're gonna get ran over. So you're nearly better staying at the back and just taking it easy. I don't think like the stations wise, like there's no point going 20 seconds faster on the ski if it's going to make you 60 seconds slower in your next run. Do you know what I mean? You need to run your own race and kind of know your own paces. So as James said, like going out too hot at the start is something that you definitely want to tell people not to do, but I don't know. I think people will still do it anyway.
You probably have to go through the pain to know not to do it again. What's really interesting about HYROX is just there's so many different countries doing it. Dave, you've been to, what ones have you competed in?
We were in Madrid, so in Spain, obviously last year. Then Nice. I think we were probably competing against each other, but didn't even know at the time.
Probably Probably these guys. What was your time?
58:22.
Ah, yeah, they beat us.
I'd have been in Madrid with you last year as well. It was about this
Madrid.
time last year, no?
It was start March, yeah.
Yeah, I was there last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were similar to you. We rocked up to Madrid and we were the last ones in the gym. There's 30 people going out. The last ones, myself and Dean, didn't even know each other at the time. One of the coaches paired us together because I done just come back to the gym.
Oh, really?
So we went out. It was the furthest Dean had ever ran. He'd never ran more than 8K before outside of a HYROX. He was a swimmer all his life, so he obviously was fit. We never ran, and it was only during the race he was dead when we were on the rower, and I was like, "Dean, we're in the lead here." I was like, "You better pull yourself together for the next 3 runs." We ended up finishing second.
Wow!
And like again, we didn't really know what a world championship was before going into it, and then I think we had 12 weeks between then and Nice.
That's amazing.
To then step up to the pro weights and try and figure out if we could run a bit better.
You guys know better than me. You can be fit at swimming, but running's a different animal altogether.
Yeah.
God, that's fantastic. How do you guys prepare when you're going to a different country? Because nutrition, training, all those type of things. How do you try and get yourself right in a different atmosphere, a different environment?
I haven't nailed that one yet. So when I went to Hong Kong for my first race, it wasn't the plan. I was supposed to go to Copenhagen, but they cancelled it on, it was like 5 days notice or something silly like that. So then I just checked the next available race, which was the same weekend, Hong Kong. Flew to Hong Kong. I didn't get a wink of sleep the 2 days I was there before the race. So I had zero idea of how to...
Yeah.
So that's why I try not to think of it like it's anything other than just a fitness event. It's not that important. Otherwise, then you start to think it's more important than it is. And then everything feels worse. And like you'll have an excuse of being tired and jet lagged, etc. But you just want to try and eat familiar foods, sleep as much as you can, and don't overthink it. And never get to an event too early either.
How do you two guys?
Yeah, I think when it comes to traveling, we went to Nice a few days before just to calm and settle down. But as James said, I wouldn't really view it as like a race day. I just see it as like a 60 or 70 minute workout. If you have the work done, you can just rock up and do it. We all know how to ski and how to run and how to push. We know all of the stations at this stage. So overthinking it is probably the worst thing. Because if you're overthinking it, you're probably not going to sleep at night. You'll be thinking, oh, did I drink enough water? Did I eat enough food? Just do what you normally do. If you're good enough to be at a world stage, what you're currently doing is probably good enough to continue to do until the race day. So
you're going to Chicago?
Chicago, yeah.
That time difference is going to be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking in my head here. Because normally for the ones in Europe, we try fly out. So if we're on a Saturday, we'll try fly out at least the Thursday. So you're not flying the day before the race, like a lot of people do, just to get proper sleep and settled when you get over. And then obviously you're on your feet all day traveling. So it's good to have that day in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Chicago, I was listening to a podcast this morning when I was on the treadmill, and Hunter was saying how traveling from Australia to the UK for Glasgow really messed with the time zones. And I was like, Dubai to Chicago later on. So yeah, I don't know, we're gonna have to fly out probably 5 or 6 days before and try adjust to the time zone.
Can we even try and pre-adjust here maybe or something? Be tough.
Yeah.
Go to bed at
probably
4
easier
4
said
p.m.
than done,
in the
but
day.
yeah, it'd be good to happen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Sharjah because obviously it's on our doorstep here. I did Dublin back in November and it was probably my best race. Obviously going from home, turning up and being able to do your usual routine, warm-up routine the day before helped. So I'm hoping put in a good shift in Sharjah.
What's your goals for Sharjah? Have you any? You want to put a time out there?
Always PB. So my time's 1:05:44. So just PB that. Even if it's a second, I just always like to see improvement on previous.
You're just going individual.
Yeah, individual. Yeah.
Perfect. 80.
Yeah, we've got doubles. So
with who? 80.
With my wife, Des. As I said at the start, we had a baby 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a catch-22 for me. Obviously, I want to do well, but I don't want her to push too hard in case she's not ready. So I think we'll just show up and do the race and see what we're able to do.
Incredible, she's doing a HYROX 4 months after.
So impressive.
So impressive.
Naturally, she is so much more athletic than I am. She keeps the standards really high. So I need to train to stay with her. Even we did a run last week. And as I said, she just had a baby, and I'm looking at her paces, and I'm yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. I'm actually, when she's looking away, I'm trying to get my breath back. It's mad, but her natural ability just to run and do this stuff, it's very good. So I think she bounced back pretty quick, but we don't really have any paces or any goals in place, because see, it's kind of hard to push too hard too soon.
I think that is the epitome of going out to enjoy it. You know, I mean,
exactly.
4 months after having a baby, running with your wife, that is just really, let's go out there, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the big thing about HYROX, I see too, it's very inclusive, brings in a lot of people. You know, you can do these things with your wife, you do it with your best friends, or people who are in and out of fitness, the relays and things like that. How do you feel it's in terms of building a community, getting people together?
Oh, it feels like the fastest growing sport in the world, that's for sure. From when I first heard about it to now, which was only maybe a 2.5, 3 year window, I feel like everybody knows at least what it's called, whether they call it HYROX or HYROX, they've heard of it some way. So I feel like, do you know, I come from a CrossFit background as well, and it is what CrossFit was in the beginning, really inclusive, and anybody could do it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the goalposts kept moving every year, and it didn't matter how good you were never good enough. Whereas with HYROX, it's standardized, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
The only change is where the race is and what the course is going to look like, and the sleds mats, but that's a conversation for another time. But the race itself, anybody at any time. I've seen people take 18 minutes to do the burpees. They take 2.5 hours to do the race, but they can rock up and they can get it done.
It's great.
And it's incredible, yeah. It's almost more admirable than the people who are doing the 53-minute world records that we can see now. Yeah. So it's very inclusive, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I know HYROX was getting a lot of stick. Not stick at the start, but I think people were kind of slating it a bit. It's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. But if you actually train for it properly with the strength training, the conditioning, and train for it properly, it really is an all-round great way to train. And I think, like you're saying, you have people that are, you know, there's the 5-10% that are looking to win or to podium, but people forget about the 95% that are there to, you know, better themselves, go on a trip with their friends and compete and just improve their overall fitness. And I think that's where it's really coming through now.
How are you hoping to do in Sharjah?
I'm hoping to do pretty well. We'll see.
What are you doing in Sharjah?
I'm doing men's open, so I got the ticket.
Yeah.
Straight. I did. So we did Nice last year, and when we did Nice, we kind of were like, we didn't really know if we were going to do another HYROX. We were just going to go enjoy the World Championships. Then obviously I knew I was moving over to Dubai, so myself and Dean said we'd have one crack in Milan in October to see if we qualified before I moved out here. And we won Milan and qualified for the Worlds. And then I was like, all right, I want to do an individual before I move over to Dubai, because there's not that many events out in the Middle East. So I did Paris and did 59, 26. So I was like hell-bent on getting under the hour.
Yeah.
Didn't really care where I came. I was like, I knew that would leave me somewhere up the top if I got under the hour. So now I don't really care about the hour mark as such. I don't care about qualifying for the Worlds in Sharjah. I just want to kind of let loose, and if I do 56 minutes or blow up and do an hour and 5 minutes, I don't really care. So
Dave, we come to you and we offer you we offer you third place in Sharjah. Would you take it?
If it's my best effort, then yeah.
That was a no.
We'll see.
He wasn't happy with that.
I've heard that he should win the Open. That's what I've been told.
I've heard he's told people he's going to win. Yeah.
We'll see. You don't know who's going to turn up to these events, so I suppose just give it your best effort and see where it's at.
That's all you can do, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't really like, it's a good thing to train for and to aim for, but like I don't attach any value to whether I come first or 50th. Like it's only just a race at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is great though, as James was saying. Like, you know, you've guys who are 2.5 hours, guys who are 59 minutes, and it is just it's great to get it done. You know, to get to that finish line and just enjoy it. Let's say so. Whether you are in the top 5% or wherever, it is really inclusive.
There's also loads of ways you can win, I suppose, because they don't just have first, second, and third. True. They also have however many age groups and however many categories. So you go on Instagram after a race and however many 1, 2, 3 flags you see.
Yeah.
It's genius marketing, really.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
Because you can rock up any age group, any category, and you could be in for a chance of coming top 3 in that category, and the people seem to really enjoy that. You could come 20th in a race but come top 3 in your category, and that's
which is brilliant, because it kind of buys into, I know you've done Ironmans I think in the past, where like it's that everyday person is kind of an athlete and has a chance to win or has a chance in their own category. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I remember seeing on the Instagram last year, after the one last year, and like it seemed like everyone in Ireland had placed. I was like, did only Irish people like go into this? But obviously there were so many different categories. It was fantastic. You mentioned a good point on the training on, it's not different, it's the same thing. But how do you like train differently for it? Because you're doing the same thing again and again and again. But like, how do you vary your training? Because if you keep your training the same, you're going to drive yourself crazy, I presume.
Definitely. I think what a lot of people will do wrong at the start is just continuously try and do like HYROX like races. They'll try like and do a HYROX race every weekend. They'll set up in their gym and they'll try and do it. Like, I probably won't do a HYROX race until like race day. Like, I won't even run through. I'll run through stations. I'll like practice running into a sled and then maybe go back into running. I might do sled work one day. I might do just barbell lower body strength one day. Like do interval run-ins, do like a long run someday, some upper body stuff. But very rarely, like, I will actually train HYROX. So on the day, it doesn't really feel repetitive. The layout of your week will be somewhat repetitive, but I will mix up. Like on a Monday, I'll do an upper body. On a Tuesday, I'll always do my interval work. I'll always do a long run on a Sunday. So, but your interval distances, time, spaces will always change. Distance of your long runs, like duration of your long runs will change. So it's not too repetitive. But what people do wrong is definitely like try and do HYROX stuff like every single day. And the next thing they do like 3 days and they're like, they can't do anything because they're in so much pain. Like, it's unrealistic. And it's very hard to gauge progress when you're not like just focusing on what you actually need to work on.
True.
What I said, a lot of my clients online now for this Sharjah race, it's their first one. I'm like, this is just feedback. We're doing one, we're getting feedback, we're seeing what we need to work on, and then we push on. Like, don't overthink it, just go out, we have the work done. Like, they're worrying about the sleds, they're worrying about the ski time, the paces. I'm like, don't stress. Like, we'll meet up a day or two before, we'll run through whatever we have to run through, and then we'll just run through the race day and get feedback. I think the way the race, when you do it, you get the breakdown of all of your different stations and like what needs worked on, and you're also placed like, you could be first on the sled push, but you could be last in the burpee, so you kind of know what you need to work on. So it's quite good that way. That's how it's not repetitive for me.
Leads me on to the next thing. Same question, but like, do you look at your previous performance, go, I need to focus on that area?
Yeah, but I think you need to take it in context. So a lot of people, let's just say, could be good at lunges in the gym, and then when it comes to HYROX, their lunge time is really bad, or like compared to what they were expecting. But you kind of need to take it in context. It's like, did you run to what you're trained to run? A lot of people run faster and then should they get to the lunges, and it doesn't matter how strong you are at lunges. If you're not running to the pace you're supposed to run at, or you went out too hard at the start, like, that's not a lunge issue, that's a running or aerobic capacity issue. So sometimes it takes a coach to give you that feedback to kind of, okay, I don't need to do more lunges, I just need to get better at running. The same with like wall balls. I've got lads back at home that are squatting 50, 60 kilos more than me. It's not a strength issue, it's you just haven't paced your race right, or you're not running to your ability.
It's a very good point. You see that often with clients as well. They're probably focusing on the wrong problem maybe sometimes.
All the time, to be fair. I mean, I completely agree with what you've said. I think the biggest issue people have is they train specifically for HYROX rather than looking at it as like a general. It's how did you describe HYROX at the start? What did you say it was? It's functional fitness. So if you take functional fitness, it's not just those 8 things. It's very generic. So if you train functional fitness and you tick all these boxes, you are going to improve at HYROX. So people focus on the wrong things because they either focus specifically on the race, or, as Dave was saying, they just look at what went wrong in the last race and just focus on that. But it's actually, the bigger picture is way more important than just what happens. And also where you raced, because every race is completely different.
Why is that?
The sleds will feel heavier in some, they'll feel faster in others. You might have to run 2 laps instead of 4 laps. The rock zones could be bigger.
Venues are hotter, colder. Some are outdoors these days, some are indoor.
So it's standardized as much as possible, but also no race is the same. And you will never, even if you try and do a simulation in the gym, you'll never directly simulate,
of course,
what that race is going to be like. So it's almost not
even in like Dubai, the first time I did it, I had to do 3 laps. Then the year after, it was laid out different. It was only 2 laps, and it felt like a completely different race. Same venue, same setup, same location, completely different race.
Across, like, even just small things, like if you're the first wave of the day, there's no one else on the track. If you come out, at 11 o'clock and there's 10 heats of doubles in front of you, like, the course pack, like, so that's going to affect your running big time. Your times
Yeah, absolutely. Even your mentality, seeing people in front of you blocking you, it's
coming out of
tough.
the stations, like I've slipped in the wet, like from people just throwing water everywhere. Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like there's so many different things, and I know everyone is like hell bent on the hour time or comparing times, but you kind of have you can't really compare times. But I suppose it's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Focusing back on nutrition, I suppose, what we do. You guys have all, you're all on fit meals, so thank you. It's great. How do you view nutrition, especially in the week coming up to HYROX? How do you view your nutrition, the importance of it, let's say, and is there any changes you might make? Let's start with you, Eddie.
Not really. I wouldn't really change much. Kind of as I said, like similar to your training, if you've got the work done, you don't really need to change much on the day or the week before. Obviously, your training, you'll taper it back a bit. You're not going to taper back your food the week before. Like you're going to just continue to eat while you're eating. Make sure you're well hydrated. Maybe eat a little bit extra. But some people will like try and like randomly carb load, and they're like bloated on race day. Like maybe tried foods that they're not used to, that they might not digest well. But I wouldn't say change anything really. What's working for you now is going to work for you then. So like just continue to do what you're doing really. No major changes.
Same question, Dave.
Yeah, I think nutrition is so important when it comes to training, obviously race day. In terms of changing things for a race, I suppose I'd increase my carb intake, not to the extreme, but like definitely more importance on your simple carbs in the day or two before the race, and then less kind of, people think like, oh, I need to eat really healthy or loads of protein, but it's probably the least important time for your protein the day before the race. And then obviously you don't want to eat loads of heavy fats the day before the race or the morning of the race. But like AD said, like you're not going to do anything new, or you shouldn't be doing anything new in the lead up to the race, because the last thing you want is stomach issues running around for an hour and a half.
Absolutely. Same question. And do you get a lot of clients asking you the same questions? What should I eat? What do I need to do?
Yeah, I get a lot of clients who they try and do, as AD said, they try and do different things, and you just say your training isn't just what you're doing in the gym; it's also the way you're fueling your body. There's no reason why you would change it just for your specific event that's coming up. Like take a marathon for example. If you've not used gels during your training for a marathon, you're not going to use gels on the day. It's almost the same. So yeah, clients all the time try and think that, oh, I need to get the extra edge, but if their body's not used to it, it's not going to benefit them. So stay consistent with what you're doing, which is exactly what I do. I've never really put much emphasis on nutrition. Fit meals kind of saved me, to be honest, because I used to just eat the same 3-4 meals every single day.
Same.
So now at least I get the variety. But for me, food has always just been fuel, and because I enjoy it, not because I'm that bothered about specifically what it is.
You're probably our newest Fit Meals customer. Because meal plans isn't a big thing in Ireland. How has it changed, or how has it helped you?
It's changed everything massively. Like even just before training, being able to have fresh meal, like obviously everything's freshly prepared, being able to have that meal, fuel well before, and then refuel straight after, in a half an hour after. You're not worrying about getting in food, and even like the macros within them are so good. I think a big thing for me coming out, myself and Aidan went straight onto Fit Meals when we moved out here, and I was like, I hadn't heard about Fit Meals, or I didn't even know meal prep companies were so big out here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm used to eating what I eat, like very functional. I'm not like, I don't need to be entertained when I eat. I just want to fuel and train. And I was like, if I don't like these, I'm not eating them. But I absolutely love them. So it's definitely been a game changer for me.
No, and it's great you mentioned the macros there. Like Helen, you met her nutritionist. She's so big on getting enough fiber into it and getting like different ingredients in there. Obviously getting the macros right. There are a lot of things that you can't have, you just can't do yourself all the time. You don't have the time to be going, right, what 30 plants am I going to eat this week? It's tough that way. So for me, I love not having decision fatigue with it. I don't have to think about, well, I'm just like going to pick it and go. I don't have to go down shopping or thinking about it. I know nutritionist has me covered. I'm sure you definitely have found the difference with the 4-month-old.
Definitely. The last thing you want to do is spend hours shopping, even like the silly things like doing dishes, like prepping food. Like any 5 minutes in the day is now important to me. Like if I can get home from the gym, put a meal in the microwave, and have it done within like 5 minutes, that means I can go and pick up my little baby and just hang out with him. Do you know what I mean? Like it makes life so much easier. But also, as David was saying, it's kind of like when like you're a coach or when you're like PT people and you have knowledge on nutrition, it's very easy to say like, oh, like, why would I get a meal prep company? I know how to do all of this stuff myself. I know macros. I know how to like put the right calories in place for me. But it's not about that. It's about the time, like for me, and it allows us to focus on training and actually do better and qualify for worlds, even though we don't know what worlds are, because we don't need to worry about things. Do you know what I mean? But like it's like the time, and like it's just so practical. Like, because even Debs is taking it now as well, and like it's just so easy for us. Like we can spend so much time with the baby now instead of worrying about what's for dinner, or like you just literally get home, 5 minutes, microwave, job done. Like.
Exactly, and I find especially when time is tight, I think the thing that suffers most is your nutrition. You'll try and get half an hour, 45 minutes for the gym or do something, because it's an action, it's something you're going to do. But nutrition, it's very easy just to take an easy option. Over here, an easy option that's not good for you is only a click away. Probably 15 minutes away, you know. So it's just so easy. So it just takes that decision off you, which is great. How do you guys balance between, let's say, whole foods, which we all need and eat, and supplements, let's say, to try and help you maybe in other areas, especially if you're training very hard? Let's start with you, James.
I only use supplements if I know I'm not. So the only supplement I really use is just a protein shake after I train. But I don't really like heavy protein shakes, so I use Clear Whey. So it's like a squash. I'll only use that if I don't have immediate access to a meal. Otherwise, I never get rid of a meal for supplements. And that's the only thing I've ever used, just purely because of knowledge. Like, it's easy to listen to somebody say, I remember I listened to a podcast once, Matt Fraser, CrossFit champ, said he used to use beta-alanine before he'd train. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, we have to do this because if he does it, it must work. But I've never liked jumping on the hype of things because other people have said it, but I've never wanted to look into it enough myself for me to then know what the benefit is for me. So I only use a protein shake after I train if I don't have immediate access to a meal. But now I have immediate access to meals all the time. So my supplements are just...
Simplicity is best, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You can drive yourself mad trying to get so many different things into your body. How do you approach it, Dave?
I'm pretty guilty of the beta-alanine. I'm just in the middle.
I love the beta-alanine.
I'm just in the middle. I only got it there about a month ago, so I'm in the middle of testing it out, and we'll see for Sharjah if it makes the difference. So I suppose supplements
45 minutes.
My third one.
I'll be taking it.
I don't know if you want to classify electrolytes as supplements, but I would take electrolyte every morning, and then before or after a training session. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely sweat a lot more out here, so just replacing the salts
absolutely
that are lost or even in advance. And then outside of that, beta-alanine, creatine. Don't know if I notice any difference to creatine. Could be a placebo effect, but it's obviously fairly well researched, so I take that every day. And then, like James said, the whey protein. So whey protein after a session, or if I'm looking for a snack on the go, I'll have a protein shake and a banana. Over-reliant on supplements, I'd like I said, it's whole foods, fit meals would form the most of my day, and then that's just on the go.
I used to be crazy on the protein of, no matter what gym session I did, have protein ever. Now I'm very specific on it. Only feel like if it's a very heavy weight session or something, I nearly try and just get the food in now. I just notice myself, especially just your gut health and stuff like that, the stomach, a lot of protein shakes are pretty heavy on that. But there is a time and a place for them. It's trying to get that balance right, let's say. On the electrolytes, I think you're right. I think over here, we're probably all on electrolytes, are we? Or do you use them, Eddie?
That would be the only thing I really use, to be honest. I'm the same as James, like just food. I might take a protein shake. I've got a tub of protein in the press probably this past 6 months. If I need a top up, I'll take one at night, but it's just really foods for me.
Probably tells you everything you need to know about protein shakes too. It's in your cupboard 6 months and it's still good enough to take, you know.
Exactly.
Creatine
too, but sometimes I just forget to take it. So, but it's mainly just foods for me and some electrolytes for hydration. That's about it. Really.
Yeah, I am noticing that trend. I think more so in definitely in athletes, and that they're kind of dialing down the supplements, maybe more so, or maybe some people will say differently. But it is nice to get that through your nutrition rather than trying to kind of outsource it. But there is places for a balance on it. In terms then, let's say on a balanced diet, how do you guys approach cheat meals, chocolate, balance? I love chocolate. I will eat it forever. There is no one going to take a bar of chocolate away from me in the evening. How do you get that differential?
I never look at any meal as a cheat meal. It's just psychologically for me, I like to look at anything as for starters, if I'm craving something, it means my body needs something. So I'll listen to my body, like what's what am I not doing here? But I never look at it like, on the weekend I'm going to treat myself because I feel like I deserve it. I feel like if I want something, I will have it. And that's how I've always looked at my nutrition. Just psychologically, I feel like, especially in the world of social media now, you can look at people and compare yourselves and want to look and be a certain way all the time. But I just focus on what I want at the time, and I normally will have it. So I never look at a week of, I'm going to be really good for 6 days and then destroy myself on day 7 to ruin that week. I just look at everything as it's balanced. I wake up, I feel good. If on that day, like yesterday, for example, I had a chicken burger last night because I wanted to order a chicken burger and eat that.
Let's have it.
It's like, why not? Why should I not do that? I take good care of my body. I train well, live a very active lifestyle, don't really drink much alcohol, so I don't stop myself from doing any one thing for no real reason.
Yeah, it's a good positive outlook, isn't it? How do you guys approach that?
Yeah, quite similar to James, to be fair. Like,
Good man.
I have a
Did you have a chicken burger last night?
I didn't have a chicken burger. No. I actually had Nando's yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah, no, quite balanced. Like, you're training 5-6 days a week,
Yeah.
and you know, if you're like having the fit meals, I've done 5 days a week. Like, that's serious balance in the week. At the weekends, yeah, we might get a takeaway, or there's a nice place that does pavlova near us. So I've been guilty of getting that once a week. But like, it's all in context. Like, it's one meal. Or it's a treat. Like, and yeah, I don't know. You don't want to take it nutrition too seriously. Like, as in, you're allowed to live. Like, you have to live. You've earned it. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
That should be our tagline. Don't take nutrition too seriously.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
I think to be fair to what you're trying to say, like, once you get the basics right and the structure of it right and the amount of it right, you know, you're allowed to be open to other things after that. Let's say, I said, if you're on it for 5 days a week, you're getting 80% of your week there, like pretty
yeah,
solid.
even more than that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, it has to be taken in context of your whole week, and it's like James is saying, like, you're back on it. You're not, just don't ruin the whole week. Enjoy your treat and then move on.
Yeah, so just on what you just said, which actually makes my point make more sense. If I feel like, oh, you know what, I want a bar of chocolate, the first thing I'll think of, well, hang on a minute, do I have a meal I haven't eaten yet? I'll eat that first, and then if I still want a bar of chocolate, I'll have a bar of chocolate. But I tick all the boxes first, and then afterwards, if I want to treat myself, I treat myself. So yeah, same.
How do you find it, AD?
I wouldn't use the word cheat meal either. It's probably a social thing too.
It is a social thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Especially now with having the family now. I think I'm on fit meals 6 days a week. We just maybe go out for dinner on a Sunday. That's order whatever I want. If it's a Sunday roast, if it's a pizza, if it's a burger, just I know, like, if I'm having 4 day meals a week and one of them is a cheat meal, like, it's not going to make a difference. If 39 of your meals are good, like, that's the bulk of your week in a good place.
Yeah,
So,
I'm with you. I don't like the term cheat meal, but it's everywhere on social media, especially us when we're doing research and that for meals put on menu, and people are like, oh, do this cheat meal. And I'm like, why is it a cheat meal? You know, it's just a meal. It's a nice meal as long as you do everything else kind of right. But the problem is there in social media, especially guys and really calorie counting, getting down to like 5-6% body fat. I mean, that has a huge impact. Do you see that with people, especially who you work with, who like, I want to look like that?
Yeah. On social
This
media.
is the picture. This is what I want to look like. Yeah.
It's like when you're going to get your hair cut and you're taking the picture when you're a kid. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But all the time. And even I actually came off social media. I only got it back maybe like 2 years ago because of my job.
Yeah.
But I came off it, I think I was about 18, 19. I had Instagram for about a year, then I got rid of it because I was constantly looking at what I wasn't doing, what I didn't look like, and I just felt so unhealthy.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly.
There you go.
So
how do you find it, Dave?
I don't know, for me personally, because I don't train for how I look, I train for performance, but I know with a lot of people, especially in consultation calls with clients, people mentioning diets, cheat meals, and wanting to look a certain way. It's like, I think everything just needs to be taken in context and find the right balance. Like, the word diet, I think, has such a negative connotation. It's like just creating people's healthy relationship with food and teaching them how to eat healthily, but still be able to enjoy treats and fit it into their day, around their training, around their lifestyle. I had a woman recently who was saying, like, she couldn't eat an ice cream in front of her kids, and she was worried how it was giving them a negative. And I was like, no, you just need to change your mindset, and you can enjoy those treats. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. We never use the word diet as well. I hate that word. It's like, it's not a diet. Like it's a way of living. It's your food, let's say.
Yeah.
And even on us, people will ring us or customer service get on, I need to lose this amount of weight. Like, well, first of all, we don't know you. We don't know your body type. We don't know anything. And we have lots of customers who've lost, a lot, like a good portion of weight and stuff, who might have been overweight. We're never going to sell that to anyone, because we can't say that Adi is going to do this for you, David's going to do this for you. Everyone is so different, let's say. So I think it's important getting that across, and just being a bit easier on each other. I think social media is like, you need to eat this and this. It's tough. How do you find it, Adi?
Yeah, I do think the fitness on social media, it's taken a shift to a better, like, more like performance based now. It definitely was worse when like your homepage was just like six packs, like, just abs everywhere. But I do think people are starting to shift. I think I might have signed up for like a transformation when I was like 20, and I remember the application form at the bottom was like, add a picture of who you would like to look like, and I'm there like, wow. Now, like, and I'm literally just thinking about this now. I'm like, that is mental. Like, here's me, probably 18 years old, little skinny guy, putting some like 22 stone like bodybuilder in that picture, hoping I'm gonna get there in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But like, it definitely shows a shift in the like social media is definitely changing slightly towards, and I think people are catching on to it too.
Absolutely.
Like my clients, I'll never say like, we're not gonna sacrifice how you look on how you perform. So I mean, we perform well and like your results will follow. We don't like chase results and then hope to be like super fit because we're super shredded. Like, we get in good shape by performing well, feeling their body, and just take it from there.
Yeah, I really like what you two both said, because a lot of people train for performance but eat for aesthetic, and the two don't really work.
Absolutely.
But for people that don't understand that, they convince themselves that they can. So they'll destroy themselves in the gym, hardly eat anything, and then they're just on this vicious cycle the whole time because they're depleted, because they're not eating to fuel themselves, they're eating for the way they look, and it just...
Yeah, it again, a big problem sometimes health nutritionists get. Like we just spoke about in the last podcast, people coming in going, I want to plan for 1,200 calories a day. And we're like, no, like, just no. Or people training and starving themselves. You're literally training for nothing. Your body's not fueling itself. It can't improve, let's say. I agree with you. I think it's starting to change. I think people are starting to come out of that, hopefully. And I hope people have a better relationship with their food as well, because we do see it firsthand at Fit Meals. Some people get onto us and they want some crazy ideas or diet plans, so to speak, or like, no, not for us.
Yeah, you could easily sell them that package, like sell them a dream, but I
easily.
think it's important for you to be like, no, that's not healthy for you, like,
No, absolutely not.
I think, sorry, obviously we're chatting about HYROX and Fit Meals, but like, that's why HYROX, that's one of the benefits or advantages of HYROX, is you're training for a performance-based goal.
True.
And naturally, it's actually something I try push with clients, whether it's a 5K, 10K, a HYROX. By training for that and fueling yourself properly, like, nearly your aesthetics or how you look, or if you want to lose a bit of weight, will happen as a byproduct of that, but it becomes less of the focus.
The secondary.
Yeah, and I think that's a really healthy way to train.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, how you look and feel will be a byproduct of that kind of performance goal.
Yeah, or focus on how you feel, then you'll end up looking better. If you feel good, you look good. It almost works hand in hand,
It's also helping people like visit new places as well. Probably places you wouldn't have thought of going to. You might go to 3 or 4 different cities in the year that you definitely wouldn't have been to because of HYROX, let's say. You're getting like a fitness anchored tourism industry nearly starting.
Yeah, and on top of that, you're training with other people, you're traveling with other people, and like, even just for your mindset alone, there's such positive benefits.
Absolutely. Dave, you wanted to go through your 5K time.
The two lads tearing me apart here. My 5K time, I enjoy running, so I use it as a base to test every so often, just to make sure.
What was your latest test?
It was 16:43 back in February. So
nice.
That's fast.
Nice.
So quick, huh? What is that per kilometre?
3:21. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you hold the same pace, or do you have like a strategy where you like go up and down?
Yeah, so that's probably like one of my good attributes. I'm very good at pacing. I don't have like crazy top end speed or power or anything like that, but I'm pretty good at maintaining that 80-90% effort. Probably comes from the triathlon training or the longer CrossFit WODs back in the day.
Yeah.
Where I'd see other people going out the gates, smashing themselves and blowing up, whereas I've kind of learned pacing.
I would definitely take a different approach.
Yeah.
I can't hold the same pace for a long time. Like I'll start the first K fast, second K slightly slower, third K slightly slower, and then jump back to the first pace again. And then on my last K, I can just send it because I know there's only 1K left. I think everyone's different though. Like
So like Dean, the lad that my doubles partner for HYROX, he's really explosive, really fast. Like if he went out and did a 5K, he'd probably run like 3 minutes, 3:30, 4:4, and we finished the same time. So when it comes to HYROX, I'm like peeling him back. I'm like, stay with me. So yeah, it's just pacing, I suppose, and obviously training for it.
When you did that time, were you trying to beat a time? Did you have something in mind?
I had done like 16:50 something just before I moved out here in January, so I just wanted to go a bit faster.
And it was over here in UE, obviously you did that.
Which the first
16:43
was start of February in Dubai.
Did you find it different to running the atmosphere? Obviously it's not that hot at that time.
It was fine. It was at like 7:30 in the morning, so it was pretty cool. It wasn't too warm. I'd say now if I went out I'd get a bit of a shock as it comes into the summer, but
it's very impressive. Hey guys, we're going to wrap up soon. We'll finish with a Fit Life lesson. Obviously HYROX is in the front of people's minds. What would you say if someone said, listen, I want one tip off you for HYROX? You can include something about nutrition there if you want, and training. James, we'll start with you.
My main tip would be what we've already touched on, is if you're going to do a HYROX, don't train specifically for HYROX. Focus on, like my main advice to everybody is touch all your compound lifts, like your deadlift, your squat, your bench press. Be consistent with your running, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to run fast. And try and find a nice balance between the two. Don't focus just on your 8 HYROX movements.
Brilliant. Dave?
Yeah, I suppose for me, there's a few little pointers, but they all kind of tie in. So like when you're training for HYROX, obviously the intensities, you need to get the intensities right across the week. And then when you get the intensities right, then you can maintain consistency. And then tying in nutrition to that, I suppose some people, like I have clients where they've trained fasted. I'm like, why are you training fasted? Like, fuel yourself for that session, but then you're also trying to refuel yourself so that you can train the next day as well. So not starving yourself, like making sure you're well fueled for that session and recovering for it so that you can go again the next day.
Perfect. 80?
The lads took everything I wanted to say. I would say probably, even if you just listen back to this podcast, there is nothing special. Like we haven't said you have to do this before the week of HYROX. You need to change your training to this type of style. Like just keep it simple and do it often. Like there's no secret formula to this. If your training's going well, don't change it. If you're eating well, don't change it. Enjoy the race and don't run too fast in your first lap. That's what I would say.
I think that's the general theme of just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Go out there and, really take it in and kind of don't be too nervous about it. Just go out there and
it's a really fun day.
Like,
even I nearly get more of a buzz after the race watching everyone else doing it or cheering friends, family on. Just enjoy the day, soak it all up.
Yeah, you'll be nervous, and when it's about to start, you'll be nervous enough in that moment. You don't need to worry about being nervous any time before that. So just save it for then. And don't get there too early. I always say that to people, because you'll spend the whole day walking around with back on, and then by the time it gets to the race, you're like, whoa.
I spent 2 hours in zone 3.
Yeah.
I haven't even started.
Brilliant. Guys, thank you so much, James, Dave, and Adi. That is us wrapped up. Thank you for tuning in to The Fit Life. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow our guests on social media. We'll leave tags there. And again, thanks very much, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.